Hi everyone, welcome back to the next part of my walkthrough guide for 5.1. We're picking up where we left off here in Amnarang. We are going to be heading back to Eulmore with Kai Shear, who is anxious to see you and Alphanol back to Eulmore. Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not to keep her waiting, eh? You gonna be okay here? Future of Eulmore is at stake, is it? Yeah, we saw that last time. Okay, so let's head straight back to Eulmore. So we know for sure that there's going to be a lot of changes in Eulmore because they're basically leaderless now. So they have to pretty much rebuild their entire government from the ground up. Not only that, but let's not forget that Ranjit is also dead. So there's no one to really command their army. I think most of the Sin Eaters are pretty much gone at this point, which is a good thing because if they weren't, then these people would probably be screwed. So there's a lot of problems going on in Eulmore right now, so they're going to need all the help they can get. So I could totally see this place being like a central point for the next couple patches until things calm down. It was the folks over at the Crystarium what told me you'd all be at Journey's Head, and lucky for me, you still were, running around after people's tiring work. Oh, trust me, Kai Shear, I know all about that. Well, not here seems out of the ordinary, though I do not see Lady Chai anywhere. Probably pacing around outside again, staring off into the distance and all that, sighing. Strange. Let's see if we can find her and discover the source of her distress. I mean, does she really need an excuse? I mean, it seems to me like she's someone who is very emotional and that can change like with a drop of a hat. Hey there.
Oh, thank heavens you're here.
Lady Chai, whatever is the matter?
I knew not where else to turn. Oh, this is all too much for my poor heart to bear alone.
Alone? What of Master Chai?
But that is the very reason I summoned you. He's gone.
What? What happened?
It all began after the events at Mount Golg. With Lord Vorthry out of the way, we all agreed that a new leader must be chosen.
And so you held an election?
Yes, well, sort of. Not a single person volunteered to stand, you see. After a lifetime of leisure, we free citizens have grown somewhat indolent. Readapting to the harsh realities of life is trying enough, but to take charge of a broken city as well? No one wanted such responsibility. Nevertheless, Eulmore could not well do without a leader, and so we decided that anyone and everyone should be considered a candidate. And after we cast our ballots and tallied the votes, the mayorship fell upon my dear husband.
Well, given the manner in which he orchestrated the construction of the giant Talos, none could deny his leadership qualities.
But even before then, he had proven himself at Daedalus Stoneworks, don't forget. He is more than qualified for the role. The perfect choice. Indeed. I told him as much when his victory was first announced. But Perhaps I was too forceful in my attempt to encourage him, for shortly after that he vanished without a word.
You believe he was so daunted by the burden of leadership that he felt compelled to flee? Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes. Your husband does not strike me as the sort of man who would abandon his duty, much less his beloved wife. There has to be some other reason for his absence.
You truly think so? What about you? What do you think has become of my husband?
I don't know, but whatever it is, he won't have fled.
And there you have it, Lady Chai. You needn't worry. Master Chai loves you more than all the world, and he will return. Wherever he may have gone, rest assured we will find him.
Thank you, my dear boy. You have set my mind at ease. I will trust in my husband and await his return.
Okay, so now we have to go down and see if we can find her husband somewhere. Alright, so that was a quick quest. We're going through these so quickly. I think we're about halfway through now, and I'm a little sad at that. But hey, let's move on here. We'll see if we can find the others. And to be honest, I'm not surprised that they chose Chai-Nuzz to be the leader. I mean, he is really the only other Eulmorian that we actually know and is at least somewhat decent. There we go. Okay. You know, Eulmore is nothing like I thought it'd be, but somehow I can't picture going anywhere else. The Chais are a part of it, I suppose. They've been good to me. I only wish there was something more I could do to help them. A notable absence. For all his comforting words, Alphinaud is plainly troubled by Master Chai's sudden disappearance. Makes no sense for Master Chai to have left without a word, but even if he had, he would not have done so unobserved. Someone here will have seen something, I am sure of it. We should split up and inquire as to whether anyone saw him leave, or, failing that, if they have any idea where he might have gone. I will meet you at the Glory Gate to compare notes later on. So we have to find somebody up here in the canopy, then the buttress, and outside in the derricks. Master Chai? Why yes, I spoke with him recently, though I recall he was in a rather dour mood, concerned with Eulmore's neglect of industry, you see. With Lord Valfrey apparently inexhaustible stores of mule, and no great need for money, it's little wonder our businesses were all but forgotten under his rule. But I assured Master Chai that the Boutique of Splendors will do all it can to contribute to the revival of trade here in Eulmore, which seemed to satisfy him. He took his leave soon after. Your exchange with Moen has taught you about the stagnant state of business in Eulmore. You know, I like her a lot better than her counterpart, Neorzia. I really, really do. I mean, she at least seems sympathetic compared to some other people I could mention. Wish to descend to the buttresses? Yes, we do. Let's head down there. Do I think that he fled? A part of me honestly does, but at the same time, I think that it would be a little bit too easy to put that in. And I don't think that he would have left without at least bringing his wife along with him, because I think he'd be afraid of disappointing her. Looking for Master Chai, are you? Is something amiss? When last I saw him, he seemed ready to collapse from exhaustion. I insisted he rest and catch his breath, and we talked for a while about his concerns over the city's defenses, among other things. He made more than a few valid points. Many of our men are still recovering after your confrontation with Lord Volfrey, and finding General Ranjit in a heap in the middle of the plaza shook us all to the core. The man commanded no small amounts of loyalty, and some of our longest-serving soldiers seemed lost without him. Indeed, a number of them left. Not that we blame you, of course. Without you and yours, we would still be blind to the error of our ways. Anyway, funding permitting, I propose replenishing our ranks with volunteers from the derricks and Gatetown. We have a duty to protect not only Eulmore, you see, but the surrounding regions of Kolushia as well, and I, for one, will welcome any man or woman willing to take up arms for the cause. Indeed, I told him as much, and he seemed relieved to hear it. It was on that note that we parted ways. He headed outside, as I recall. Your exchange with Corian has taught you about the perilous state of Eulmore's defenses. Yeah, so I just mentioned that before, too. With Ranjit gone, there's really no one to command the army, but I didn't even think about, all the loyalty that he really commanded. Because, he's been there for what? How many years now? So he really would have had no small amounts of loyalty among all the soldiers. And now they're basically leaderless now too. I recall a man fitting that description. Asked to speak with the poor buggers lately come from right. Said he wanted to know the state of things down in the derrick, and you can be sure we gave him an earful. Lack of food, medicine, clothing, there was plenty to tell. We hunt high and low for whatever we can scavenge, and it's barely enough to fill our bellies. But folk here don't just want to survive, they want to thrive. When he heard that, he started mumbling to himself. Something about finding us work, I think. Fair play to him, though. Not content with having his ear chewed about the derricks, he asked about the other settlements and all. After that, I can't really say. Looked like he was heading for Gatetown when last I saw him. Your exchange with Half-in-Bed has taught you about the poor living conditions of Kolushia's downtrodden. Oh yeah, there is a lot of work to be done here in Eulmore, on Kolushia in general, and I do not envy Master Chai at all, because he has to deal with all of this pretty much on his own. And I'm not entirely sure if he's really up for that task now that I think of it. Does he have any experience? Any luck? I got nowhere myself, but it sounds like Alphanon might have. Ah, there you are. How did you fare? Have you learned anything with which we might offer a clue to Master Chai's whereabouts? A handful of things. Interesting. He apparently paid a visit to the Queen Bee as well. They discussed the possibility of granting admission to customers from outside Eulmore, an idea with which the proprietor was surprisingly receptive. Sounds like he's got big plans for the place. Eulmore, not the bee. Perhaps, but the question remains, where did he go after leaving the city? Oh, these quests are getting shorter and shorter. I don't like it. The next one is called For the People. Didn't take long for folks to start moaning after Volfrey left. Now everyone's in Eulmore's got something to complain about. Wouldn't want to be in Master Chai's shoes, having to keep that lot happy. Alright, so the next quest is called For the People. With furrowed brow, Alphanol carefully considers where best to look next. All we know for certain is that Master Chai has shown great concern not only for Eulmore, but its surrounding settlements. It seems logical then, having consulted those within the city walls, he would wish to do the same to those without. Claire, if you would go and make inquiries and write, I shall do likewise in Stiltide. Gatetown, I'll leave to you, Kaishir. Fair enough. Where should we meet when we're finished? Well, Top Rung would seem to me his next most likely destination. Let us reconvene there. With any luck, one of us will have stumbled upon him by then, but if not, we will be well suited to continue our search. Alright, so let's head off to Wright. So, from what I've seen, he definitely hasn't fled. He's just kind of taking stock of the situation, trying to decide where to go from there. Which is pretty smart, actually. So he's definitely considering his new responsibilities, at least. No, the name doesn't ring any bells, but there was a rather dapper-looking minstrel gentleman here not long ago. He wanted to talk about relations between Wright and Eulmore, or rather the lack of them. We lost a great many people to their promises of mule and the chance at a lavish life among the free, and Valfrey thought to take even more from us, conscripting the few able-bodied men we had left to guard his paradise. I needn't tell you what happened when the Sin Eaters came. Such things are hard to forgive. But Valfrey's gone now, and we're curious to see what will become of Eulmore in his absence. That's what I told your friend. Chai-Nuzz, was it? And I'm sure the others said the same. Not that he wanted to hear, I suppose, because he left soon after. And that was that. Okay. So, let us head to top rung. Let's just fly there. Be easier to do that. Turns out Master Chai was over in Gate Town too. He spoke to a few of the residents apparently. They told me they'd never seen a posh bloke look so miserable. So he paid a visit to both Wright and Gate Town as well, did he? Mm-hmm. That's right. I see. Kai-Shir and I gleaned much the same. He seemed determined to salvage what goodwill might yet remain amongst the settlements of Kolushia, the only likely place he has left to go being Amity. Come, if we are quick, we may yet catch up with him. Yeah, so this is a lot like what happened back in Heavensward and Stormblood for the first patch that comes out after the initial main scenario quest. Basically, they're just taking stock of everything that happened, like quick summary of everything that happened, and just kind of starting to repair all the damage that was done. Like with Ishgard, it's trying to reestablish some sense of peace with the Dravanians, and in Stormblood, it was kind of like helping Alamigo start to repair. And, oh, okay, there he is. So now it's basically with Eulmore trying to get back on its feet. Claire, Alvinol, Kai-Shir, what are you doing here? We might ask you the same, Master Chai. We've been looking all over for you. Looking for me? Whatever for? Lady Chai has been nigh inconsolable in your absence. She claims you disappeared without so much as a word, and bade us return you to her side. What in the blazes are you talking about? I left a letter for her in our chambers. Though I suppose she could have overlooked it. And when she gets an idea into her head, I can only apologize. No harm done, Master Chai, but since we are here, might I ask what compelled you to come all this way? We were told you have been elected mayor, and from what we have gathered from the nearby villages, you've been inquiring about the people's grievances. Is it safe to assume you mean to take office? Now, let's not jump to conclusions. I did seek to learn about the problems faced by the people of Kolushia, but I am by no means sure I am the man to solve them. Tackling our many challenges will require resources, and until I've secured them, it will not be right to assume the role of mayor. I see, and you believe said resources can be found here? Indeed. The people's grievances are many, but in the course of my inquiries, I have already met with several individuals willing to lend their aid in addressing them. However, there remains one individual crucial to my plans, a man whose counsel may yet make a mayor of me. With respect, such forethought is, in itself, proof of your suitability. The city needs you, Master Chai, and I am certain this man of whom you speak, whoever he may be, will reach the same conclusion. For what little is worth, we will vouch for you should he require convincing. Whatever you need, you can count on us. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. You got your actions to speak for you. For as long as I can remember, all I wanted was to make it into Eulmore, but that dream's gone now. Burst like a bubble, or a boil more like. Anyway, outside of repaying and Master Alphanol, I haven't had a clue of what to do with myself. Spent most days in a daze, but you've been running up and down trying to find a way to fix this mess for everyone. And I reckon you can do it. You got this lot up to Mount Blug, didn't you? How hard could mayoring be? You're going to steal Eulmore to a better future, I know it. And I want to help, properly help, do something what makes a difference. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll work it out on the way. If you let me come with you, that is. You give me entirely too much credit, the lot of you, but I can't deny it gives me heart. Come then, let us press on together. Thank you, Master Chai. But we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. Eulmore needs more than a man with good intentions, which is why I'm here, to find one with the experience needed to see the city thrive. Who is this man exactly, and are you certain he's here in Amity? Wendon is his name, and yes, he is. Or was. I had scarcely begun to explain myself when he decided his time was better spent elsewhere. He served as chief advisor to Valfrey's father when he was in office. If Ranjit was the mayor's right hand, one might say Rendon was the left, and between them they kept Eulmore on the road to prosperity. The city needs more than a mere man of business, which is why I must find him. But even if you do, what makes you think he will listen? Before giving chase, might it not be wise to speak with those who know him here in Amity? They might be able to shed some light on his reasons for rejecting your overtures out of hand. Yes, I suppose that makes sense. Perhaps we should start with Tristel then. As I recall, you made a rather favorable impression on him. I'm certain he would be willing to talk with us. Okay, I get it. So he's hoping to get the experience from Wendon, which I am actually kind of impressed with. According to Master Chai, this Rendon fellow accompanied a position of considerable influence in the Eulmorian leadership, which begs the question, why did he choose to leave? Wouldn't you leave if you had to work for Valfrey? I realized it was me who suggested speaking with Tristel, but who's to say he will be any more receptive than Wendon? Why should any of them give me the time of day? That's no way to think. Ignore me. I reckon Eulmore could learn a thing or two from Amity about standing on its own 2 feet. Then again, so could I. Greetings, friend, and to you too, Master Chai. I presume you are here to ask after Rendon? I couldn't help overhearing your earlier exchange. Yes, well, with Valfrey gone, Eulmore wants for a leader. Should no one rise to the challenge, the city could very well collapse. I came here seeking Wendon's counsel in the hope that we could build a better Eulmore together, and that is still my wish, but given how abominably you were mistreated there, I would quite understand if you chose not to help. Worry not, Master Chai. I bear no grudge against you or the people of Eulmore, and I would not see you suffer for Valfrey's villainy. As you'd no doubt gathered from your meeting earlier, Wendon can be rather uncompromising. He has his principles, you see, and little patience for anyone he deems less committed to their own. Your desire to right the wrongs of your past, of Eulmore's past, is quite admirable, but I fear the guilt you bear on the city's behalf works against you. I can see it in your eyes, and the way you carry yourself. It goes without saying, he sees it as well. You must let those feelings go, Master Chai. Be more assertive, commit to this course, and prove to him Eulmore has the resolve to change. The resolve to change. I believe he was heading towards Pit 8 when he left. If you plan to go and speak with him, I suggest you be firm and clear in your intentions. Very well. To Pit 8 we shall go, and I will not take no for an answer. Nay, not even a maybe. Okay, let's get going then. Despite our previous artistic differences, I do believe Master Chai means what he says, but until he starts believing it, I fear it won't amount to a lawful lot. Alright, let's go see if we can find this Wendon person. Wonder what he's gonna be like. So this is what that little extra village was for. Wendon. Here we go.
Well, well, it's you again. Well, I see you've invited your friends. Need them to fight your battles for you, do you?
I didn't invite them, as it happens, though they are indeed my friends. Well, not only mine, but every true Eulmoreans. They are the ones who awakened us to the truth, to Lord Vorthry's villainy, the famous warriors of darkness.
Who are they now?
Yes, they are. It would be no exaggeration to call them our saviors. We owe much and more to their kindness, but we cannot depend on that kindness forever. To do so would be a little different from entrusting our affairs to Lord Vorthry. Nay, we must learn to stand on our own 2 feet. And I would have them present to witness my attempt.
Hear, hear, Master Chai.
Your sentiments are admirable. Yet admirable sentiments do not a nation make. In my capacity as advisor, I once strove to build a better Eulmore. Gave honest counsel to my superiors, drafted laws for the benefit of one and all. But in time, my values fell out of favor. There was no need for them in this paradise Vorthry was creating. And so I left my homeland behind. But you, Chai-Nuzz, you were content to wallow in indolence under Vorthry's auspices. And so I cannot help but ask myself what manner of nation you intend to build.
I can offer no simple answer to that question. But this much I will say. It is my hope that Eulmore can become a nation which her citizens might freely choose to build together. A great many people, myself included, flocked to Eulmore seeking sanctuary. The alternative being to live in fear and die in pain. It seemed an easy choice. And sanctuary we found. As much food and drink as we could ever want. Secured at the cost of the surrounding villages. Little wonder the people gathered at our doorstep, begging to work among the bonded. The free were blind to it all, of course. Content to, as you say, wallow in indolence. In ignorance. Were I mayor, I would first take stock of the city's resources and see that they were assigned equitably. Our days of reckless consumption are behind us. The distinction between free and bonded died with Vorthry. The needs of rich and poor alike must be considered if our nation is to survive. To which end I would take steps to secure channels for supplies, rekindle relations with nearby settlements, who re-establish industry, reach out to neighboring nations, and the list goes on and on. But I am no ruler, nor even a politician. I am an entrepreneur. My expertise lie in planning and profit. I haven't the knowledge or experience to run a nation. Please, Rendon, will you not help me? Together, we could solve the city's problems. Build a Eulmore for the people.
or for the people? I'd rather like the sound of that. But before I offer you my counsel, I would be certain of your ability to perform the duties of office. You would? You ask me to help you solve Eulmore's problems. But first, I would see you solve one on your own. Accomplish that, and you will prove both to me and the people that you are a man worth following.
Okay, so he's not unreasonable. I'm glad to see that. It remains to be seen if his word will translate into deeds, but I shall endeavor to keep an open mind. Imagine it, a Eulmore that even a bloke like me could help to build. People cannot be brought together on the strength of high ideals alone. This I know from painful experience. Wyndon was right to demand proof of Master Chai's commitment. Okay, so he has an Alphinaud seal of approval then. Right then. If there is a particular issue you would have me resolve? You seem to have conducted an assessment of the problems Eulmore now faces. I assume you will agree, therefore, that the matter of dwindling food stores is most pressing. Ah yes, mule being neither a desirable nor less sustainable option, I assume alternative foodstuffs are now required to fill the void. And a man who hungers is not like to contribute much to society, save violence, perhaps? So tell me, how do you propose to solve this problem? Give me a satisfactory answer and I will consider offering you my counsel. A combination of measures would seem to be in order. One to address the immediate issue of supply, and another that of production. Go on. For the present, Eulmore's coffers can be used to purchase food from our neighbors. This would afford us time to address the underlying problem that affects us all, the long-standing neglect of agriculture. The villages that once served as sources for trade or for foodstuffs must be repopulated, their means of production restored. This assumes, of course, that we can rekindle relations with our neighbors, guarantee safety and stability in the region, and, most importantly, find people willing to leave the city and take up the rebuilding effort. My, think of that all by yourself, did you? Well, yes, it began as a rather abstract plan I drafted some time ago, after speaking with the peoples of Eulmore and the nearby settlements. You have impressed me, Master Chai. I have? Well, that is a relief. Oh, you haven't secured my focus just yet. Only my attention. Grand plans will not be enough to persuade the masses. If you would ask them to rebuild, you must provide them the means to do so. A fair point, Wyndon, and one to which I have given much thought. I propose the use of Talos to aid in the establishment and maintenance of these settlements. Their employments should drastically improve efficiency and ultimately increase production. Talos? But Dahlia Stoneworks closed their doors years ago. Without a ready supply of the necessary equipment, the people would starve before your plans could be put into effect. Well, as the heir to Dahlia Stoneworks, it just so happens that Talos are my field of expertise. And with a little help, I'm quite certain we can acquire what we need in no time at all. Okay, that's impressive. I did not think of using a Talos here, but at the same time, why didn't I think of that? Talos seemed to be the magical answer to everything here. You had a hand in constructing that giant Talos to the north, did you not? When the Eulmorian volunteers began arriving, I hid myself away, lest I be recognized. Thus, depriving myself of what I am reliably informed was a once-in-a-lifetime spectacle. Bugger. That Rendon geezer doesn't seem so bad. What was Master Chai worried about? He's got to give himself a bit more credit. Do you see it? There's a fire in Master Chai's eyes that was not there when we first met. A fire we'd best keep kindled if we wish to see Eulmore change for the better. Okay, so the next quest is called Finding Good Help, but since it looks like there's going to be some cutscenes involved, I think that it's best that we end it there for now, and we will continue on with the story in the next video. So, I hope you're all looking forward to it.